Well, Mike Huckabee is coming under fire for comments he made over the weekend regarding the president's nuclear deal with Iran. Well, Huckabee said to Breitbart News, "The president's foreign policy is the most feckless in American history. It is so naive that implied Barack Obama would trust the Iranians. By doing so, he will take the Israelis and march them to the door of the oven." You know, that's a very inflammatory remark he made in reference to World War II and what happened to the Jewish people. And he's making supporters of his, obviously he's in strong support of Israel. He's making it difficult for people he's trying to protect to actually support him. His analogy was so far off base here. He's standing by his comments though, Jose, which is surprising. He didn't really give any other information other than that one comment. And who uses the word feckless in 2015 on a different note? What was he thinking? I mean, I
stand with what Obama responded. I think is very on point. He said, Obama addressed the comments and he said that they will be ridiculous if they weren't so sad. And I think that's the reality is to see that they're just trying to create this dividing between people and create this idea that this Iran policy is a big bad wolf trying to come back and take away Israel liberties and Israel place in the global agenda. But we need this deal. This deal is better than no deal. And I think that those who want more war in this country, in this world, those that want the U.S. to continue pushing the military industrial complex forward, they will argue that this deal is a bad deal and they will throw this out. But the reality is that the deal is a positive step forward.
I mean, I'm really, on a different note, just going back to his statement, the Nazi death camps referring to this Iranian deal. I'm not sure what aspect of this deal he's talking about. We referenced it on the lip here. We actually covered it in detail when that deal broke. And sanctions, lifting of sanctions, what specifically, Mr. Huckabee, are you referencing here? Just going over the terms of that deal really quickly, the amount of uranium was negotiated, alleviating sanctions was negotiated. We need to point out, by the way, that those sanctions being lifted, they're a lot more difficult to reinstate once they're up as opposed to just moving forward with this policy that we used to have. I'm not sure what his analogy was in reference to, but perhaps he's not happy with the sanctions.
I think that the whole point that we need to be paying attention to is the fact that they're just using this language to create an emotion. There's no fact behind it. There's no policy behind it. There's no alternative behind it. It's just riling up
Well, the alternative would be to stiffen the sanctions, make no deal with Iran because he sees the president's policies as cowardice, and he sees us, bowing down to what they wanted.
But that's the
we shouldn't trust them.
Foreign policy,
right?
That would be U.S. doing this Israeli foreign policy work, and
which we've done for a while.
And I think this is a departure of that, and I think the Obama administration is looking into the future and is looking into the need of a stable Middle East on their own. Otherwise we'll see that there might be a major armed conflict coming in the next decades.
Is he right though in that we can't necessarily trust the Iranian government? Is he right?
It's hard. I think the root of the agreement is that we trust them in doing so, and the measures are there for the international observers to decide if they're following the deal or not. And we do have to believe in that around the world, the consensus and the surveillance is going to be good enough to prevent them from deterring from what they need, just energy for their country, which is happening to go through a very, very hardship time. They're very poor and they need energy and they need resources. And I think lifting the sanctions is a humanitarian thing for the people of Iran.
Right. Well, Mike Huckabee didn't necessarily offend everyone with these comments. Michael Cohen, the executive legal counsel for Donald Trump, he's also the vice president of the Trump Organization. He said, "Hey, I'm not offended by the governor's remarks." So, he does have a modicum of support within. I would say that Michael Cohen arguably is a member of the Jewish community. I mean, obviously, he's also a member of the GOP working for Donald Trump, but he hasn't necessarily alienated everyone. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, of course not. Only the clown car will jump into those comments of creating, that analogy that has been so, hurtful to many people, and just throw it freely like that, where there's no real connection. I think is dangerous, and it's proper from someone from the Republican Party.
Well, anyway, we'd love to know what you think at home about Mike Huckabee's comments. The fact that he said the Israelis, this deal marches them to the door of the oven, end quote. Please log on, post those comments below about this story. While you're at it, be sure to check out the rest of our channel and, of course, subscribe to the Lip TV 2 for more.